Thursday, ladies, always great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Let's start in the US, should we? And with Scotty. Oh, goodness me. As far as coronavirus is concerned, more than 250,000 people have died from it in the United States. When I was there, the president said that the country had turned a corner when it comes to COVID. Doesn't look as though it has, does it?
But in this case of Michigan, like the story we just watched, Governor Whittemore has been one of the strongest, strictest states in the United States from this summer and locking down her states. And seeing what the result is, obviously they have one of the highest cases right now. So I don't know if lockdowns are specifically the answers to what's going on, because in her state alone, she's showing that it's not. And at the same time, you are seeing people losing their livelihoods. You know, suicide rates in the United States are also up by 200% this year alone. So there's a lot of other effects that are going on within the United States besides just the COVID that's causing the death. At the same time, we're finding that lockdowns don't necessarily mean that you're going to stop the spread or slow the spread of the virus. All you're doing is delaying the spread. So that's why things like the vaccine offer a lot of hope right now to not only Americans, but around the world, the folks that say that obviously stopping this, mandatory mask mandates, stopping your state from working, sending people back at home and stopping people from being educated does not necessarily eradicate this virus from your community.
Dr. Shola?
I think it's important for people to understand that the threat to livelihoods and to lives is not the restrictions being put in place, whether it's to wear face masks, to wash your hands, or to have lockdown. The actual threat is COVID-19. And because of the campaign of disinformation that Trump has been pushing from day one, you have millions of Americans that believe the utter nonsense that comes from him. And this is what has triggered a lot of the resistance against the sensible restrictions being put in place. Look, whatever can delay, whatever can curb the virus should be welcome. You will have no livelihood without a life. There is no economy without the people. And we now know that Donald Trump has not attended any COVID meetings for months. We know for a fact that he's made so much more time for rounds of golf and to tweet over 400 times. But the fact that over 250,000 Americans have died and more than 11 million plus are confirmed cases does not move him at all, because it is not in the gift of this president to actually care or to sympathize or empathize with Americans.
Dr. Shola, I'll ask you this next question, then go back to Scotty for her response, because it's a bit of an open goal for you when it comes to the fact that the president continues to say that this election was rigged and that he should remain in the White House. Your thoughts on that?
It's pure political theatrics, okay? We know that. We know that these are nothing but disgraceful, frivolous lawsuits with baseless, unsubstantiated, unproven allegations of fraud. There is no stolen election. Multiple Trump election lawsuits have been dropped or dismissed because he has produced no evidence of any fraud. I mean, look at Arizona. Trump had to abandon his legal action there because he can't win without evidence. Wisconsin, he abandoned the legal action there because it would cost him $8 million up front. Doesn't have the money. He missed the deadline. Michigan, the courts rejected his claims of fraud for lack of proof. And look at what happened just recently, where the Republicans tried to stop the certifications of the election results so that it will be up to the Republican state legislator to decide the winner. That's just undemocratic. And rightfully, it's been shut down now because it's been certified. Look, the Department of Homeland Security, that is Trump's own department, came out and said very clearly, very clearly that this 2020 U.S. elections was the most secure in American history. Donald Trump only cares about Donald Trump, and he's throwing the Democrats under the bus.
Yeah.
We'll make no doubt that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris would not be the winner without mail-in votes, which is obviously the number one way that fraud can happen within the voting system. That being said, Shola is right. These cases are being dropped because of the expense, because of pressure that's being put on some of these testimonies we're finding out. But you cannot say that there has not been fraud, especially this week when we saw 2 counties in Georgia that magically found 2 different situations in 2 different counties of more than 2,000 plus votes found that were not accounted. You can't just blanket do that and say that there isn't those sorts of situations. But that is what the courts are here to figure out. The case with Donald Trump was that he didn't have to win. He had to overwhelmingly win, without a doubt. He had to go even above and beyond what past numbers are. And I have to tell you, here in the States, it's pretty hard using common sense to think that Joe Biden is more popular than Barack Obama was in 2008 and 2012, and even Hillary Clinton in 2016. The numbers just don't make sense. However, they are what they are. This is what's going to be played out within the courts. And you can't use this population number because there hasn't been that much of an increase to show that Joe Biden is the #1 candidate, who, by the way, spent the majority of the campaign time in his basement, that he is the person that actually accumulated more votes than any presidential candidate in history. It's laughable, but unfortunately, we're going to have to rely on the courts in Donald Trump's. In this case, they're going to have, it's really going to be hard for them to overturn certain elections, certain cases where
Let me tell you what is laughable. Let me tell you what is laughable. It is laughable that you saw Biden, who is the underdog, and you thought he could achieve nothing. It is laughable that you thought the legal right of Americans to use mail-in ballots would be the only way.
It isn't the legal right. They literally changed the law.
Right. It is a legal right to use mail-in ballots.
Democrats
it is also laughable, Scotty. It is laughable that you did not understand one simple formula. There was just a simple formula. Trump has so ticked off Americans that they came out in droves to kick him out of the White House. So yes,
in droves.
He did an anonymous ballot. They came out in millions. Biden has won by over almost 6 million. So when Donald Trump came out with his vast multitudes to hail him as king, what he was actually doing was getting more multitudes to ensure they got out of their beds to make sure that Donald Trump does not have another term. So it's not about whether or not Biden's the most popular president. That's not the point. The point is Americans don't want Donald Trump anymore. He's a narcissist, a petty, petulant, fragile man baby who's a weak leader and wanted to rule it as king. And Americans said, not on my watch. So stop trying to make
ballots with anonymous
Americans
but okay,
strongly and proudly to kick Donald Trump out. He was a terrible president, a crappy president, and the worst. I pray to God that America never makes a mistake like Donald Trump again.
Okay. Scotty, I'm just going to let you come back on that final thought about him being a narcissistic man baby.
I don't disagree with the narcissistic part, but I think those are pretty harsh words. And the key is with the Democrats right now, they have a very, very, very dark cloud already hanging over the Biden presidency. And I have to tell you, with such the red wave that happened within the House, with young women being elected to the House, Democrats better be careful with this sort of boistering and in-your-face smearing that they're doing right now to Republicans. 2 years is going to come quick, and I would hate to see what would happen to the Democrats when Nancy Pelosi is removed from the Speaker of the House.
Thank you, Scotty. We're good. Thanks, Scotty, for the advice.
Not so much.
We're good.
So much.
Biden is a listening president.
The other one,
he's a listening president, and he's got the right kind of people around him. He's good, but thanks for the advice. Would have been better for you to give advice.
When we bring back the Obama agenda of more wars and getting the UK into these
but let's run with the Trump agenda. Let's run with the Trump agenda.
Sons and daughters all for
ladies.
Misogyny. Let's run with that. Let's run with the Trump agenda of racism, misogyny, and xenophobia.
Ladies.
Maybe that's what you want, but that's not what Americans want. So good on Americans.
Ladies. I wish you wouldn't keep sitting on the fence. Honestly, my viewers would rather you expressed your opinions. It's good to see both of you, as always. Thank you so much for joining us on the programme this morning. We'll see you at the same time next week. Thank you.